It's time for a chili garden update, and look at this weather. There is blue skies, not a cloud in sight. I think the UK press are exaggerating things a little bit. They're saying there's a heat wave at the moment. I mean, it's not that hot. Let's go check things out in the greenhouse. I mean, it's barely 50 degrees Celsius in here at the moment, so I don't know what they're on about. But let's go check how the plants are doing. All joking aside, we do have some casualties in Big Chump, and I'll show you those in just a bit. But actually here in Littlechump, the plants are doing pretty okay for the moment. Let's have a look around to see how things are going. So as you can see, we haven't lost any plants in here. They're looking relatively healthy. They would be doing a little bit better if we had a bit of a respite from the heat, but for the most part, looking all right. Even here, the marigolds, and we do have some dead flowers there, but not the end of the world. And over there, yeah, pretty much everything looks all right. We do have some fruit. Well, we had fruit the last time I gave you an update, but you can see some of it's actually ripening up if we have a look here. These are the citron, and we actually have a few dropping off there. Over here, this thing's ripe. What is this? Let me have a quick look. A Botan Koshu, or Kosho. So we have a ripe one there, and I'm sure we have plenty more. When they start coming through, we can see them fruiting over here. That flower's turned into a fruit. We've got some more flowers coming through, but these plants still need to get a lot bigger. It's unseasonably warm, which means that we do have all this fruiting happening, but this plant here will easily tower up here within the next month and a half, I'd say. Over here we have a Criolla Decochina. Not ripening up yet. We can see they're starting to change color, which for June is pretty nuts. And we even have some Capsicum chinense pods. Look at this, Capsicum chinense ripening up. Which one is this? I'm scanning seeds here, by the way. This is a Fadas bear claw, or Fadas bear claw. And you see obviously some unripe ones there, and then we've got some ripe ones coming through. And these here, as far as I'm aware, they get quite massive, the actual pods. So we'll see how they are a little bit later in the season. It's got some lovely markings on there. This is the candy cane. You can see the leaves, a little bit of stress. We have actually got some stress on quite a few plants, but not too terrible given the heat we have. But look at that lovely yellow and green striping. Got another Capsicum chinense over here. Let's have a look. That's a Fatali yellow. That is definitely not a Fatali yellow. Where did I get these seeds from? From Red Dragon. Red Dragon, that's not good, because that is definitely not a Fatali yellow. This here, Dragon's Breath, is a hot one, for sure, but we've also got some ripe ones coming through. Over here, we have a fish pepper, I believe. Look at that, striping on the pods and the white on the leaves. It's a little bit similar to my CC Fushimi, with the variegation, the asymmetry on the leaves and that sort of thing. Very pretty. Another super hot back here that is ripening up, and that is fried chicken. Lovely. That's actually looking nice. Look at that. The little spikes coming through there on the side of the pod. Let's go take a look in Big Chump. Man, it is actually hot in there. Wow. Today is actually a little bit cooler than it's been the last few days. We reached, well, we've maxed out at 60 degrees Celsius, the highest I've seen, and I've put a few things in place to help out. So actually, before we go into Big Chump, let's go take a look in the polytunnel, ChilliChump, because that's where we had the extreme 60 degrees Celsius heat just about a month or so ago. But now managing to keep the temperatures down a bit. And there are a few reasons for that. I've actually turned this off for now. This thing is loud. Well, we'll turn on. You can have a listen. Sounds like a jet taking off. But this here, it pulls air in from outside and blows it up towards the top. You can see how I have it angled. But that there is pulling air from outside. It is pumping air up into the ceiling there, because that seems to collect a lot of heat. There's no vents at the top like we have. You see there's vents at the top of the greenhouses. We don't have vents up here, so I'm trying to move the air around, which is why I have this down here, blows up top. And we also have that one over there, which is pulling air in from the sides because there's a vent over there. And that has kept the temperatures down. We have maxed out at about 50, 55 degrees was the biggest I saw momentarily. But yeah, it doesn't tend to go above 50 degrees now with all the vents open on the sides of the greenhouses, as well as both doors open here, just pumping air through. These plants are doing well. I probably need to increase my cycle time here with the heat the way it is, but we are looking at colder temperatures over the next week or so, so it shouldn't be an issue. But you can see most of the plants are actually looking just perfect. There's a few that are looking a little bit worse for wear. Some have dropped a lot of leaves, not as bad as we're going to see soon in Big Chump, but you see that one there. Yeah, for the most part, actually, they're looking all right. If we can take a look around here, it looked bad actually from the other side of the greenhouse, from the polytunnel, but that's actually all right. It's not too bad. I thought it was drooping, but it's actually all the pods coming through. That's Kashmiri Mirch, which is one of my absolute favorite chilies. It's a mild chili, but so flavorful. And we've got loads coming through there, loads over here. And again, remember, this is just June. We still have a good two months of solid growing to do, and probably 3 months, 4 months of time for them to ripen and that sort of thing. So we've got plenty of time for these plants to get a lot bigger. The ones inside the raised beds are doing nicely as well. I have this on my automation now as well, so they're getting watered more regularly than they were before, but still they're having to get a lot more water because of just how much space they take up. But they're looking healthy. The marigolds, not so much. It's just too hot for them, but they'll come right. Then we have some ripe pods down there. Yeah, mostly these are looking all healthy. Yeah, let's take a look in Big Chump. So excuse the noise in here. I do have my 2 circulation fans running on full blast at the moment. There's one there, one there. I have turned off the big fan, similar to the one we have in the polytunnel. I've turned that off for the moment, which I'll turn back on once I finish filming. But this here is pulling air nicely from the outside, and it does help with keeping things cooler. Let's take a look around. We'll actually go straight to the plants that are having a bit of a challenge. Like this one here, whether it comes back or not, I don't know. You can see all the leaves have dropped. Now, the reason for this is because the root system was just not big enough. Typically I like to wait a little bit longer for these plants. The ones that are looking healthy, we can see here, these root systems were much more mature, so they can manage with this heat. You can basically pump it full of water, and then the roots can take it up as needed. Whereas, so you'll notice, like this plant here is looking healthy. Sorry, I'm swinging all over the place, making people feel seasick. You can see down the bottom there, there's no water. That's dry, right? And I've been watering them all exactly the same. Now this has dropped a few leaves, which is not an issue. You see, for the most part, it's looking healthy. This one here, on the other hand, has dropped pretty much all its leaves. It's a bit of a younger plant than that. The root system was a bit too small. Getting the same amount of water, and you can see the water is just sitting down the bottom here because the root system just cannot use up that water and bring it up to the leaves and help it transpire. So it just really battles with this heat. And there's a few plants like that. You'll notice pretty much every one of them will be like this. So it's quite weird. Most people's solution when they start seeing this happen is to just flood it with water. The problem is you're going to end up causing more damage by doing that because the root system just cannot pick up that water quick enough. And the plant still needs to breathe from the root system as well as obviously from the top here. And if you're flooding it with water too much, it's not able to breathe down below, and you're going to end up having other sorts of issues. Again, not doing well at all. I think this one has been lost. This one I hope it hasn't, because I really want this to survive. But again, every single one of these that have lost all their leaves like this, their root systems were just not big enough to manage this heat, which is why it's so important to go through that whole process of potting up multiple times, get that root system as big as you can, so when we do have hot temperatures like this, they can manage it without an issue. It's one of the reasons why you see no issue here with my hydroponic systems. These root systems are massive, and all these plants are doing absolutely fine, even with the extreme heat we've had. Yeah, you can see a few disasters here. I'm hoping some of these will come back. You can see there's a little bit of new growth coming through there, so fingers crossed on this one. I think we'll be all right. This one, not so much. It's just, yeah, it does not look good. So I'd say we've got what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And also bear in mind, if you saw my last video, you would know that some of these plants were my spare plants that I potted up to replace other plants. That's another reason. They were kept in small pots way too long. So when I potted them up from a 500 ml pot into a 10 litre pot, just not enough time for that root system to properly develop. Anyway, enough of looking at the disasters. Let's look at some more nice plants. I have showed you this before, but look at this pod. This here is a Kevin's fried chicken, and it is a beast. Look at that. It's just beautiful. A bit lighter colored. You'd expect them to be yellow like the other fried chicken, but still, that's a beautiful pod, and I'm hoping we'll get a lot more like that on this plant. And also, if the plant is going to get a lot bigger, which it will, once things cool down a little bit, it gives the plants time to grow. You'll see a big change over the next few weeks. These plants will start growing like crazy. They'll be doubling in size before the end of July. The hydroponics plants, I'm really pleased with how they're doing. This here is a chocolate warthog. And we do have some pods on here, unless they've fallen off. Now we do. Right inside there you can see the pods. Small ones right now. They will get bigger, and this plant is just growing very, very quickly. So it's going to be nice to see how that turns out before the end of the season. And the others here are all looking good as well. All looking healthy. Very nice. Okay, let's go take a look in MicroChump. I just want any excuse to be outside where there's a little bit of a breeze. The chickens, might as well have a look at these guys on our way to MicroChump. We've got these old tubs that our neighbor gave us that their grandchildren used to use. Just filled them up with water, and the chickens love jumping in and out of those. We've got another one over there that we've put some sand in. They like sunbathing in them. But right now I'm guessing they're going to be under the tree trying to keep cool. Maybe even inside their cage over here. Let's have a look. Where are they hiding? I can hear them. Yeah, they hide underneath this tree. You can kind of see one there through the leaves. Yeah, it's so hot for them. But yeah, the MicroChump plants are looking good as well. These smaller pots make it quite a challenge to keep watered, so I'm having to water more frequently with these than I do with the ones in Big Chump, which are 10 or 12 litre pots. These are 5 litre. Yeah, these are doing nicely. You can see lots and lots of new growth coming through, which is lovely. Lots of pods coming through as well, and yeah, pretty pleased. Over here, my little beauty, my little baby. This is the Galapagos. But look at that. Gorgeous. I might be overwintering this one, I reckon. This here lipstick. I mean, look how small this plant actually is supporting this massive pod. This will ripen to bright, bright red. It's called the lipstick, like I just mentioned. Yeah, it's just a beautiful plant. But again, this one will get pretty big, and it'll put out quite a few of those pods. The few Capsicum pubescens chilies that I have, this type here, the ones with the purple flowers and the hairy leaves and hairy stems, they were battling quite a bit with the heat, but they seem to have recovered quite nicely. And yeah, that's looking rather healthy. Again, I think it's because the root system does grow a little bit slower with these, but the root system seems to have caught up quite nicely over the last few weeks. And with this heat spell, it's actually done all right. With the last heat spell we had about a month ago, these did not look very happy. But yeah, that's looking nice. One of the questions I get quite frequently at this time of year is it okay to water the plants during the height of the heat, so during midday and that sort of thing? One of the reasons people think you shouldn't be able to do that is because if you get water on the leaves, it's going to cause them to burn holes through them by causing a magnifying glass effect. I've never seen that happen. I water during the middle of the day if I need to. The only reason I don't water using my drippers during the middle of the day is because the water inside those black pipes is extremely hot. It's like almost boiling water. So that's the only reason I wouldn't do that. But other than that, I go in there with my misting gun. I will mist it with plain water, cold, cool water. I use that often to cool things down inside the greenhouses. It really does help when you mist them, and never had an issue with that. Maybe with plants that have more delicate leaves, that might be an issue. But honestly, I've never had a problem with it. So take that for what it's worth. I just prefer to have cooler plants that are surviving rather than wait until the end of the day and hoping they survive. So we had a delivery yesterday. We are building the germination shed. We're going to be doing that in the next month or so. We've got our tin roofing here, which we're also going to use for sidings on the germination shed. We got all the wood that we're going to be using as well. I've got tarpaulins coming today that I'm going to cover this all over, because in this heat is not great for this wood. It's just going to mess it up. It's going to warp it all. That especially needs to be covered over. That's going to be the interior side of things. I'm going to be covering that over with the top as well. Make sure it doesn't get wet. I've got some more roofing sheets over there as well. Building this shed is going to make such a difference. It's going to help. You know, it's likely we're going to continue getting these extreme highs and heat waves over the future years. We all know why. I'm not going to discuss it on this video. But with being able to keep them inside the germination shed for a little bit longer and actually do some potting up beyond the 500ml pots, let them be developing their root systems a bit better. By the time I do take them outside, they're going to be far better off. They're going to be able to manage dealing with this sort of heat, bigger root system, pulling up more water, and be able to cool themselves down. So that's kind of the way that I'm going, and I'm pretty excited to get it done. But yeah, it's going to be a ton of work. That'll be a good 2 weeks worth of work. We've got to lay some concrete bases and then obviously build the shed out. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good once it's done. Something else I get asked quite a lot about is being able to grow chili plants outdoors. And I've tried them a few times in the past, mainly directly in the soil. But I'm actually doing it this time in a pot. This is a 60-litre pot. It's actually a plant that I got from the South Devon chili farm. Well, seeds that I got from them. It's a new cross they're working on. I've got one in here. I've got one also inside the greenhouse. And we're going to see how it does. But with this heat, obviously, it's doing just fine. We'll see how it gets on later in the season, especially when we start getting some rain. Hopefully it doesn't drown out the roots. I've planted out some pumpkins. I know that there's a few of you that'll be keen on that, because I do have a sauce that I do, the Totally Smoking Pumpkin hot sauce, that I use my pumpkins for, and I haven't done that in a couple of years, so we're growing the pumpkins for that. Okay, I better get back inside and cool down a bit and rehydrate. Hope you guys are keeping safe, especially if you're here in the UK and you're dealing with this heat, and you guys over in Europe as well. I know France is getting it pretty bad at the moment as well. Stay hydrated, look after your plants, get some airflow on them. Until the next video, thank you so much for watching, and stay spicy.